5 mistakes that I have made living here in Italy, and some of these mistakes might surprise you. Ciao a tutti, benvenuti sul mio canale. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, David's Dose of Italy. So, we're all human. We make mistakes, and I'm no exception. Cominciamo. The first one is buying a television set. Now, here at our house, we do have a television set, yes. But I could actually do without it. I don't really need it. Before that, however, when I was single, I had 2 television sets, both at 2 separate times. The first one broke, and then a couple years later, I bought another one. Looking back, though, I think I only bought it, one, to watch the news, yes, but also just to practice my Italian, my listening comprehension. And so, yeah, it did help, really. But today, no, I don't need one. I say this because everything I need is on the internet. And so even back then, I could have easily just used my internet to watch YouTube, to read articles on the internet, and so, yeah, it wasn't the best decision. I don't watch TV series, and I really can't remember the last time that I actually actively watched any TV series. Now, I do like Netflix, yes, but I watch it in moderation. I watch an occasional movie, I watch some TV series, for example, Star Trek, and I do mean the older series. Next are le multe, the fines. Now, one in particular that I want to talk about happened a couple years ago. I decided to do the rent a car by the minute program. And so when I was finished, I parked the car in an area where I couldn't park. Let me explain. I parked the car in what is called a spartitraffico. And in English, it's an area that has lines, and basically it's used to divide the street into lanes. Now, I parked the car there because I saw other cars parking there, but at the end of the day, I ended up getting a ticket, and everybody else probably did too. Oh well, my fault. It happened right here, actually. As a matter of fact, I'm risking another fine, so I'm getting out of here. This kind of reminds me of something that Warren Buffett said, who probably got it from somebody else. So in this case, just because you see other people doing it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's something right. The other one happened recently, actually. So while I was filming the previous video, I went back to San Saba because I had to get a few extra shots. So I parked my car in the center of the neighborhood, in the main piazza. And around the piazza, you have blue lines. And when you park in the blue lines, this means that you have to pay. Check out this quick video and I will explain how to do that. Now, if you do park within the blue lines and you're only going to be a few minutes, then what's important to do is to put on the emergency arrows, because this tells the traffic warden, I'll be right back. Whenever I park in the blue lines, I always pay, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes. The one time I don't pay, then the ticket checks come around and they gave me a ticket, unfortunately. Urgh. Let's just say that Murphy's Law struck once again. Fortunately, there is a way around this. Now, if you do decide to park in these blue lines, but you don't want to pay the ticket because you think, oh, I'll just be a few minutes, nobody will come. If the traffic wardens do come, then I believe they have at least 10, 15 minutes before they give you the fine. So if they look in your car and they see that you haven't put the little ticket on the dashboard, then they're not supposed to give you the fine immediately. They have to wait, 10, 15 minutes. And then if you come within that time window, then you might be in luck. This is what I've understood. This next one happened while I was leaving Salerno to go and live in England. So this was about 2014. At the time, I was living in a small apartment in Salerno, and I had a contract with an internet company. So because I was going to live in England, naturally, I had to cancel the contract. So after much searching, I managed to find the right form. I filled it out, and I sent it in to the internet company, thinking everything was resolved. No. So after a year of study, I decided to go back to Italy and teach. While I was on the plane landing, I get a phone call. And I thought, okay, after a year, who could be possibly calling me? Who is this person? I don't know. Now, in general, if I don't recognize the number and it's not my phone book, I don't answer it. I don't care who it is. The only exception is when I see a Roman number, and at that point, it might be my wife's job or the daycare. So I land, I go to passport control, I get my bags, and while all this is happening, this number just keeps calling and calling. I thought, who the hell is this? So finally, I answer the phone. So I answer the phone, and this lady says, Carmosino. Like, si, sono io. Yeah, that's me. Then she told me that she was from a collection agency and that she had to close this contract with me that I hadn't closed a year prior. Imagine my surprise. So at this point, I was rather confused, to put it lightly. So I called the internet company and I asked them if they show records of me still having an active contract or if I had closed it out. So they did some searching and they said, no, we still show it active. I said, how's that possible? I sent the form in. They says, no, we still show it active. And then later we found out that on the form, I had not included a photocopy of some identification. Looking back on this was probably naive on my part. I probably should have consulted with an Italian friend. I should have showed them the form that I filled out and asked them if it was okay or if there was anything missing. In my defense, however, albeit a weak defense, on that form, it did not say that they wanted a photocopy of a document. And when I talked to Italian friends, they says, well, it just goes without saying. We know that actually. Whenever we deal with anything bureaucratic or something of the like, they want to see a copy of our identification. It is logical, yes, of course. Not everyone's going to agree with me, but I think that's a bit presumptive. And if you're a foreigner coming here, it might not be that obvious, actually. The last one is riding a bike here in Rome. Now, I've never actually rode a bike as my main method of transportation, but I have tried riding one just to get around and to go to certain places in my daily life. That's a mistake in my opinion, because I think that most areas in Rome are not bike friendly. In other words, the roads are not really set up, or neither the sidewalks, for bikes. And as a motorist, I can tell you that bikes are very irritating. Now, I'm not saying that like I gun for them, but I just think a lot of bikes are not responsible in the way that they ride, because they think they're cars, and it can really cause a lot of confusion and bottlenecks on the road because we have to dodge these bikes. So, I don't know, it's a gray area. Now, I'm not saying that all of Rome is not bike friendly. One, because I haven't been to every single section of this town. However, what I will say is this: the areas that I do know, I don't think are suitable for bikes. Quite often what happens is this: you might be on a bike, you might be on a long stretch of road which is decent for bikes, but then all of a sudden you might come to an intersection and the next bit is just a nightmare. Actually, while I'm filming this video, I just thought of another mistake that I made, and this is a bit more fundamental. Now, when I first moved to this country in 2009, I moved to Naples and I started working in a language school. At the time, it seemed like a plan. However, I had no plans for the next 5 years, nothing really set in stone for the future. And I think no matter where you're living, that's a mistake. My thought was, okay, I'm here, let's just live here and soak up Italian culture, which is not bad in and of itself, really. But if you have no active plans for the future, nothing to really make progress in your life, then that is a problem. Now, fortunately, things worked out in the end. I have a nice life here in Rome, and I'm happy. But before that, I felt that I was just drifting, really. I was just teaching year in, year out, and I really had no direction, in my opinion. This is my advice to anybody that wants to come and live in Italy. If you need some time to come here and just sort out your thoughts and maybe, do a part-time job or something small just to allow you to live in Italy for a while, that's fine, really. We all need our time to sort out our thoughts and to get organized. But time doesn't wait until you're ready, so please keep that in mind. Eventually, work out a game plan. Decide, what you want to do in this country. Is this country for you? It's something that I think you must decide eventually. For this week's phrase, I thought I would teach you something which deals with making mistakes. In English, we might say something like, oh God, what have I done? Or what a mess I've made. And one way that you can say that in Italian is this: ma che cosa ho combinato? Now, if you look at the spelling, it looks like the word combine, but this is a false friend. And in linguistics, it means that a word looks like another word based on the spelling, but the meaning is completely different. For example, the word morbid and morbido look very similar in spelling. In fact, the only difference is the O at the end of the Italian word, but the meanings couldn't be more opposite. Morbido in Italian means something which is very soft. Morbid in English is something quite different. In Italian, this means morboso. Something a bit disturbing. Okay, ora tocca a voi. Now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. If you live or you have lived in Italy, what are some mistakes that you've made? And are any of these mistakes the same ones that I have mentioned? I'd be very curious to find out. If by chance you've enjoyed today's video, do make sure you tap the like button. This will make Mr. YouTube algorithm very happy. Also, if you want to see more videos like this in the future, do make sure you subscribe. I make Italy-related videos, and I make videos that are linguistic, cultural, and practical in nature. And if you are interested in supporting the channel, then you will find the link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description. If you do happen to come here and make a lot of mistakes here in Italy, I wouldn't worry about it because it's inevitable. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're humans, we all make mistakes, and some of us have to learn the hard way. This is me to a T. Granted, let's try and make mistakes which aren't too costly and aren't dangerous. Yes, I'm not saying let's be reckless and make these mistakes on purpose and then think, oh well, I'll learn. No, certain things we have to avoid. Grazie mille per l'attenzione, ci vediamo alla prossima. Thank you very much for watching, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.